Good morning, colleagues. The 12th meeting of the third committee at the 80th session of the General Assembly is called to order. I would like to invite the committee to begin its consideration of Agenda Item 6.7, entitled Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Children. The documentation under Agenda Item 6.7 is listed on iGov. I'd like to remind delegations that the deadline for the submission of draft proposals under the item is 1 p.m. on Tuesday, October 21st. Colleagues, this morning, the committee will hold a combined briefing on the rights of children. The committee will hear 5 introductory presentations before proceeding to the joint interactive dialogue, during which delegations can indeed make comments or pose questions to any or to all presenters. With this, I would like to welcome our distinguished speakers. Dr. Najat, Maalla, first in her capacity as Acting Special Representative of the Secretary General for Children in Armed Conflict, and immediately thereafter as Special Representative of the Secretary General on Violence Against Children. Welcome. Mr. Manuel Fontaine, Special Advisor on Child Rights at United Nations Children's Fund. Warm welcome. Sophie Kilatse, who I understand is joining us virtually. She is Chair of the Committee on the Rights of the Child. And Ms. Mama Fatima Singhate, welcome. Special Rapporteur on the sale, sexual exploitation, and sexual abuse of children. Participants wishing to make comments and pose questions to the speakers are invited to press the microphone button within the next 10 minutes, after which the list will be closed. So I encourage you to do so immediately. The time limit for each speaker will be announced before the floor is given for the first intervention. Thank you for your kind cooperation. With that, I first invite the Acting Special Representative of the Secretary General for Children and Armed Conflict to make an introductory statement. Dr. Najat, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I address you today as an interim SRSG CAC since 1st August to present the report regarding children and armed conflict mandate and agenda implementation. The work third committee is about to do will be pivotal for children affected by armed conflicts. As you all know, since its creation, the mandate has contributed consistently to the maintenance of international peace and security through its ongoing engagement with various key stakeholders. The centerpiece of the mandate is its unique monitoring and reporting mechanism, which has enabled member states and the international community to bear witness to the steep price children have paid and to act to end their suffering. For almost 30 consecutive years, we have been stating that each year was worse for children than the previous one, as numbers of grave violations yet again increased. The year 2024 was the worst year for children affected by armed conflicts, with a 25% surge in verified violations from 2023. There is a disregard of international humanitarian and human rights law, including through the deployment of increasingly destructive weapons and use of explosive weapons in populated areas. At the same time, there are deepening humanitarian crises that could be prevented. Let me be clear. In 2024 alone, 11,967 children were killed or maimed, most often by explosive ordnance and anti-personnel landmines and in crossfires in various conflict settings, as reflected in the report. Meanwhile, with more attacks on humanitarian workers, including UN personnel in 2024 than ever before, and attacks on hospitals and schools, unprecedented numbers of children were prevented from accessing basic and humanitarian services, including life-saving services. Despite the changing nature, complexity, expansion, and intensification of armed conflicts that led to an increase in the number of grave violations, we have progressed in some contexts. Over 200,000 children have been released from armed forces and groups because of UN dialogue with parties to conflict and the implementation of over 40 action plans and numerous other commitments. Sustainable reintegration of children contributed to interrupting and ending cycles of conflict by offering sustainable alternatives and ending children's instrumentalization for military use in conflict. Child protection paved the way for confidence building between parties in mediation and peace processes. For children, the announcement of a ceasefire and humanitarian access in Gaza is a long-awaited and hopeful development we welcome. Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, considering the current context in which violations are increasing, it is imperative to maintain the space and the capacities of the Office of the Special Representative on Children and Armed Conflict, as well as other entities supporting sustained engagement with parties to conflict to end and prevent grave violations against children in the framework of the Children and Armed Conflict Agenda. Critically, states must ensure accountability for the perpetration of grave violations against children and end impunity to stop this endless cycle of violence. We must all commit to peaceful resolution of conflict instead of military solution and to the prevention of violation in the first place. As you deliberate the rights and the protection of children in armed conflicts in your negotiation this session, I pledge that we collectively strive to put children at the center of your negotiation. Sustaining peace is the only sure way to protect children. This should be done through the lens of their lived experience in mind by listening to them. Let us follow the words of Gracia Marshall, whose groundbreaking report on children and armed conflict was presented almost 30 years ago to the GA and highlighted the disproportionate impact of war on children. She told the impact of conflict on children is everyone's responsibility and it must be everyone's concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite again Dr. Maalla to make another statement in her capacity as the Special Representative of the Secretary General on Violence Against Children. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I am honored to present my annual report, which reflects a year of wide multi-stakeholders mobilization to protect children from violence. Violence against children has reached an unprecedented level. Yet, an extraordinary movement of states and global champions determined to make child protection a political priority has emerged. This was demonstrated by the first Global Ministerial Conference on Ending Violence Against Children in November 2024, which brought together delegations from 120 countries. This was further confirmed by the launch of the Pathfinding Global Alliance to End Violence Against Children. Membership of this alliance has grown rapidly to 47 states, with additional states expressing interest to join. Most importantly, we are seeing commitments already being translated into concrete action. Child protection is being prioritized at the highest political level, recognizing the huge human and economic cost of violence. Cross-sectoral coordination and accountability is being strengthened. States are establishing a chain of integrated services children and family need. Civil society continues to play a crucial role in both advocacy and service provision despite insufficient resources. Religious community and traditional leaders are taking the lead in advancing child safeguarding, as are cultural and sporting organizations. The private sector is also stepping up, as highlighted by the example of the travel and tourism sector and tech company outlined in the report. More and more children and young people are involved in decision-making processes. I am deeply encouraged by our collective efforts to advance and strengthen this wide multi-stakeholders mobilization. But it is not enough. We must strengthen peer learning, exchange good practice, and support concrete cooperation. The dedicated marketplace for knowledge sharing we are building under the auspices of the Pathfinding Global Alliance will play a key role in this regard. Distinguished delegates, I focused my annual report this year on tackling poverty as an integral part of preventing violence against children. Poverty has reached alarming levels worldwide due to ongoing crises and despite numerous actions undertaken to address it. Almost 1 billion children live in multidimensional poverty. Even in the world's richest countries, more than 1 in 5 children live in poverty. Yet worldwide, only 23.9% of children are covered by social protection. This means 1.8 billion children are not covered. And we know that poverty acts as a powerful driver of violence against children. Economic hardships pushes children into child labor, trafficking, commercial sexual exploitation, recruitment by criminal and armed groups, and child marriage. Poverty may create additional stress in the home, raising the risks of domestic violence. Poverty can make children victims of bullying and discrimination, which has a serious impact on their mental health and development. Poverty has enormous human and economic costs that last across generations. It also undermines social cohesion, trust in institutions, driving social exclusion and insecurity. Distinguished delegate, child-sensitive social protection is essential for eradicating poverty. Social protection that reach every child who is at risk brings a rapid reduction of child poverty. Child-sensitive social protection means not only cash transfer, but also access to basic services such as health, education, nutrition, housing, and decent living conditions for children and their caregiver. It means also ensuring decent work, providing caregiver with stable incomes and opportunities for economic empowerment. Distinguished delegates, the world made a promise to end child labor by 2025, but it failed. Less than 5 years remain to end poverty, hunger, violence by 2030. Time is running out. Children who are experiencing poverty cannot wait anymore. As highlighted by the children across all regions I consulted ahead of my presentation today, their message was clear. I have to choose between education and survival. Instead of holding pens, I am holding tools for hazardous work. I feel bad because of bullying and discrimination. I feel I am a second-class citizen. While considering children's rights and protection in your deliberations this session, putting child protection and well-being in all settings at the heart of your decision is crucial. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your two statements, Dr. Malamjit. Now I